Hey everybody, it's Brian again, and I'm taking a look at my Nintendo Powers. I'm also going to take a look at another video game magazine that I really loved as a kid. And I actually stopped getting a Nintendo Power because of this magazine, which was kind of a mistake looking back on it. I wish I would have kept with Nintendo Power. But I have a lot of issues of this magazine. It's GamePro, and I used to love this magazine as a kid. Me and my friends used to get it. And this is the very first issue I picked up in probably a Bilo or Riverside supermarket. You see, it has a lot of use ripped, and you can't really see the date, but it's from April May 1991. You see Battletoads is on the front. It says exclusive review Battletoads. They're mean green and new for your NES machine. The biggest and best new game titles. Got Akari Warriors 3, Valis 2, PGA Tour, Wampum, which is a great NES game, by the way. Wampum, one of the later NES games released. Sherlock Holmes for the Sega CD, Ninja Gaiden for the Atari Lynx, R-Type for the Game Boy, Golden Axe Warrior, which is a great like Zelda kind of game for the Sega Master System. Very hard to find. I keep looking for that. So you can see this covers Nintendo, Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, Sega, Atari, Game Boy, and Atari Lynx. It covered like multi-platforms, unlike Nintendo Power, which was just Nintendo, obviously. But that's why I like this, because it gave you a lot of different stuff. Because I didn't have a Genesis at the time. I just had Nintendo stuff and Atari and a 2600, but 2600 was kind of old by then. Anyway, let's look inside. You see you have Bonk's Adventure, and the one thing about GamePro is they had a lot of ads. A lot of their magazine was just ads, which I actually liked some of the ads back then. You got Bonk's Adventure for the TurboGrafx 16. I remember seeing a TurboGrafx 16, like, wow, I never saw one out in public, in stores anywhere, and I only saw it in this magazine. Because then there was no internet to explain it. Hey, this is TurboGrafx 16. It was in magazines. That's how you saw it. So I was blown away by this. Here's some more ads. Here's a table of contents. You see letters, mail, cutting edge, Adventures of GamePro, which was like a comic, Pro Views, which are Nintendo reviews, like Battletoads, Scat, Wampum, Akari Warriors, Ask the Pros, Pro News Report, TV Sports, like contests, Secret Weapons and Tactics, SWAT contests. Like each month, people would have art contests, and they'd submit art, and they'd vote and pick a winner. Pro Challenge Board, and next issue coming next. And here's an ad for The Rocketeer, a very popular movie that came out that summer, June 21st. And there's actually a NES game for it, which I have. Here you have the Game Boy, the handheld to compete with Nintendo's Game Boy, or the Game Gear. I'm sorry, not the Game Boy, the Game Gear. Sega's answer to the Game Boy. Color LCD. It really used a lot of batteries though. Powerball, you got more ads, and I remember lots of ads. And here you see GamePro, the next generation, explains their little rating system with the people's faces, pores like he's sleeping, and Hots, his hair is like sticking up. Power Blade, this is an awesome NES game, which I just recently got 2 months ago. And, oh, this ad, I never remember this ad. And here's just letters to the GamePro editors and stuff. Genesis invaded the aliens, can't get into Turbo Express. I have a game who's interested in Turbo Express. He can't get one in the US, he's saying. He's having a hard time. And that was normal back then. To get stuff, there was no internet, so you had to either order it through magazines or whatever. Here's an ad for Battletoad, Trade West games. TV tuner for the Game Gear. This is like cutting edge, like peripherals coming up. Sega Game Gear. Game Gear is here, so the Game Gear just launched, so this was the big write-up about it. See some games like Dragon Crystal. Game Gear games cost around $30 to $35, which is kind of pricey for 1990 terms. That'd be about $50 or so, I'm guessing. And here's another game I'm looking for the Nintendo by Hudson Soft, which made a lot of good games. I don't know if Hudson's still around. I think they went bankrupt, I'm not sure. But Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom, which I've been looking for this game. And you also see sometimes on these in the back, these things were kind of cool. This is how you could order games. You could order games through the mail, and they had lists of Genesis TurboGrafx games. And you can just order through the mail. Adventure Island 2, which Adventure Island games were fun but very hard. A tip line. They had a GamePro tip line. You can call up if you were stumped. More ads. You notice GamePro had a lot of ads. And here's GamePro comic with Bonk. Here's the Atari Lynx, and I wish I would have picked one up as a kid. It was actually a cool handheld. You see, it has two like identical buttons. That's for lefties and righties. If you're right-handed, you can keep the control pad on the left. If you're left-handed, you can flip it over so the control pad was on the right, and then you could play that way, since buttons were on both sides. Mysterium, which I don't remember this game. Oh, I remember that ad though with the dragon. I thought that was kind of cool. I always wanted a Game Boy because they had a lot of cool like ads for it. Like some of the ads for the Game Boy games, like the color, the artwork was kind of cool, and I remember that dragon. Here's the continuation of the Adventures of GamePro, and this guy, let me explain, he was like a superhero for GamePro magazine for a while. He had like in a tight suit and with these weird glasses, and he would like each looks like he's fighting Dr. Doom ripoff there. I never actually read it too much. Here's to subscribe. Okay, here finally after all that ads we get into the reviews, and this is for Battletoads, one hard game, even harder with two people. We talk about it a little bit. So it came out around summer 1991. And here's their reviews for it. Graphics they loved, gave it the highest. Sound they gave next to highest. And then everything else, fun factor, gameplay, and challenge, they gave next to highest. And it's available June 1991. 2 megs. They gave the size of the cart, which is kind of cool. They gave little pro tips that weren't really pro tips. Like, it's easier to beat the Retro Blaster at the end of level 2 with the motion ball move than with the bird feather. Scat. This is like a side-scrolling shooter for Nintendo. Totally Rad, which I just picked this game up, and I remember the cover as a kid. It was kind of cool with this monster looking out. Wampum. Now this game is a Nintendo gem that I've been looking for. Basically, this Indian, hence the name Wampum. I don't know what his real name was, and it's like almost like you pick your stage and you go in it. Platform game. But they gave it pretty good reviews. Graphics they gave 4.5. For sound they gave like a 3.5. 4.5 gameplay. So they really liked it. One of the later Nintendo games. They gave the price. They give the price of it too down here. So like for $45, they gave the price. As for Techno games, Akari Warriors 3, which I only have 1 and 2. I didn't know they made a 3, but apparently the challenge is real easy because they gave it a really low score. And here's an awesome 90s ad. Fun for kids of all ages, and you see this kid, this dad and his son. It really looks really 90s because look at their clothes, look at their sunglasses are cool. They're standing in a 90s pose. Awesome. Here's a Genesis preview for Warder, I think it is. Wardner, which I've never heard of. Crackdown for the Genesis. This was another cool game, which I have. Dragon's Lair on the Game Boy. This is an ad for the one on the Game Boy, I think. Yeah, Game Boy. And the Nintendo. The Nintendo one was terrible. The Game Boy one was kind of better. Golf, Quantum Fighter, Golden Axe Warrior. Now this was a game that was very hard to find. It's for the Master System, but it's a very good game if you can find it. It's like a Zelda game, as you can see, top down. But as you can see, they loved it. Graphics, sound, they gave it good scores. Available April 91, and it was for the Master System. And here you have another comic. Sometimes these ads would be comics. This is a comic for the game Flying Warriors. Pretty cool that they'd actually do this for this. The company actually had this comic as their ad. Pretty hefty. Here's Little Ninja Brothers comics. I have that game. I have both those games actually. And here's the tip lines for each company had a tip line, I believe. And you can enter these codes for the company. But this is GamePro's tip line. TurboGrafx 16 Pro review, and this was for Valis 2, which I believe was an action role-playing game. Sherlock Holmes Detective for TurboGrafx 16. This was an early full-motion video, almost like watching like an early internet video on a little TV screen, little window. You can see, play it again. You could order games. This was another company you could order from. I just like looking at all these game names too. Koei games were kind of unique, like these strategy games based in China, and like you had to manage your troops and stuff. Very hard to get into, but very, very different kind of game. Tailgater for the Game Boy. Never heard of it. R-Type for the Game Boy. Apparently it was really good. I never knew. I never really played that for the Game Boy. Kung Fu Master for the Game Boy. And here's this is cool. For Dragon Warrior 2, which I love this artwork. Here you have you, the hero, the Princess of Mononoke, and the other guy, I forget his name. But you could actually complete the game and send us a report card, win prizes, and a chance to be first to play Dragon Warrior 3. So you could win, like, first prize was this gold, I wish I could find this gold statue of the Gold Man, one of the enemies in Dragon Warrior. Third prize you win, or second prize you win the Jailer's Key and the Watergate Key from Dragon Warrior 2. Third prize, 4 winners will receive the Gold and Silver Key from Dragon Warrior 2. Fourth prize, winners will receive a cloth map displaying the armor from Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3. Fifth prize, 6 winners will receive a cloth display weapons from Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3. And I remember looking at these and being, wow, that's awesome, because I was really into Dragon Warrior and these early role-playing games. They were like nothing else I ever played. And I should look on eBay and see if anybody's actually selling these. Probably go for a pretty penny. For Atari Lynx Pro review, Ninja Gaiden. And I need to get a Lynx someday. That and a TurboGrafx. And here's Ask the Pros, kind of like Nintendo's things where they had the classified information. They had tips for Bronx Adventure, Super Mario Bros. 3. And here I actually cut out something. I don't know what it was. I must have ordered something. Yeah. Back issues you could order. I might have ordered a back issue. And here's an ad for Sonic. Quick, turn the page. And here's Darkwing Duck, another Capcom game that's really good for Nintendo, almost like Mega Man, but had a different like gimmick to it where you could grapple up and down, go up on ledges. You just missed them. You have to be faster than that. Super Spy Hunter. James Pond. So a lot of these games I remember. Okay, who's the wise guy that hit pause? Sonic the Hedgehog is coming soon. He's the fastest video game character you'll ever lay your eyes on. And he's only available on the 16-bit Sega Genesis. If you want to catch him, you'll better hurry. He's going to be moving and incredibly fast. This was when Sonic was just coming out. Wow, this takes me back. Phantasy Star 3, which is, I have it. I have yet to play it, though. And here's SWAT tips. This is like classified information for Nintendo. My mistake. The other one was more like pro tips. This is like classified information. Monk's Adventure, Psychosis, Thunder Force 3, Rolling Thunder for the NES, Shadow Dancer, Operation C, Little Nemo, the Dream Master, which is an awesome game, by the way. If you haven't played Little Nemo, the Dream Master, play it. Oh, and this game, if you want to see a good review on it, watch Happy Video Game Nerd's review on this game. He does a very good job capturing the charm of it. A Stynex Ghouls and Ghosts for the Genesis, which I didn't know it was on the Genesis. Well, maybe I did. No, I didn't. Oh, Bart vs. the Space Mutants. Terrible game. I remember renting that and ruining my whole weekend with it, because that's all I had to do. It was a terrible game. And here's the art series. And I used to look at this art because I used to draw myself as a kid, just copy comic stuff, and some of this stuff was amazing. Splatterhouse, Shinobi, Gremlins, Pro Challenge boards, which was like the Nintendo Pro boards that are in each issue, like scores to beat that you could send pictures in on Nintendo. And here's the back. You could trade in your old games to this place. They have imported games. They have tip books for GamePro. More ads. So a lot of GamePro is just ads. And here's another store that sells games. Ninja Crusader, which I never heard of, by Sammy. I used to like Sammy games. I don't know if they're around anymore. And here's Roland's Curse, which I've never heard of. It looks kind of... I remember this ad, though. It looked kind of cool. It almost looks like Sparkster a little bit. And then you had the end. Skate or Die, which I love this game. I don't know why. It's not that fun, but playing it now, but I used to love it. That and TNC Circ Design. So that's a look at GamePro issue number 22 from, I believe it's May 1991. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. I'll do more. I have a lot of GamePro, a lot of Nintendo Power, so I'll do one every once in a while, starting with the earliest. I started with the earliest Nintendo Power last time. Started with my earliest GamePro, so we'll go off from there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. This is Brian. Bye.